Hey everybody, I'm just going to be honest today and I'm not going to lie. I am exhausted. I am tired, but it may not be in the way that you think. I'm exhausted because I know in our society we are in a pretty heated, tense moment. There's a lot of disagreement. There's a lot of words being tweeted, shared, put on the news, and our country is divided. Now, I want to be very clear. I am not going to talk politics, y'all. But I did want to share a reflection that I had when I was watching my kids play. But before I share my reflection, I'm going to show you a little clip of what I saw my kids do.
Me. Where are we?
Okay, so I have no idea what they were playing, but I just thought it was the cutest thing ever. And I realized that in that moment, I am at some of my happiest moments when I see my kids just getting along. Now, do they always get along? Nope. Do they fight like cats and dogs? Yes, a lot. But I desire for them to get along. I desire for them to enjoy the gift of each other. And as a mom, that brings me so much honor and happiness when my kids are seeking the kind of relationship that fosters goodness and happiness and joy. And as I was thinking about that, I was thinking about God as our Father when He looks down at all of His children. And I think He desires the same thing. I think that He desires for us to desire great relationships with our other brothers and sisters in Christ. Relationships that are conducive to joy and spiritual growth and holiness. And I have to say, I get a little disheartened when I scroll through the news or social media because there just seems to be a lot of heated disagreement these days. And I just want to reiterate that we have to remember that every single person on the face of the planet is God's child. So even if it's our best friend or our worst enemy, they are all made in the image and likeness of God and deserve tremendous dignity and respect simply because they are God's beloved child. And I think if we let that sink in for a minute, then maybe we'll pay a little bit more attention to the words and the rhetoric and the tone that we use in our speech towards each other, especially when we disagree, because we are imperfect and we do have different views and opinions, that there's always going to be conflict. But I think how we handle that conflict and those disagreements speak a lot about our character. So I'm going to give you 3 things that I have been thinking about these past couple of weeks. The first thing is that I'm actually going to take a small break from social media because I have realized that my soul is getting to a point where it is not restful. My peace is being disturbed because I have become emotionally attached to certain things, and I have found myself getting angry or frustrated at things that normally never used to bother me before. So I'm going to take a little break from social media and just pray. I'm going to ask God to purify my thoughts. I'm going to ask God to reveal to me what is really at the depth of my feelings of frustration and confusion. And just to learn to rely on His divine providence again. Because our souls have to be right with God. And our souls kind of have to take a love bath in His mercy if we then are going to share that with the world. So that's my first recommendation. My second recommendation is to think before you speak. And I know that sounds cliche-ish, but I really want you to ask yourself is what you want to say. Well, does it have to be said? The second is, does it have to be said by you? And the third is, does it have to be said by you right now in this moment? And I think sometimes we have quick emotional responses. And sometimes when we do that, they can come from a place that lacks charity. The third thing that I recommend is taking all of the sarcasm, all of the vulgarity, the name calling, the ill will towards people. Take that out of your language, because at least in my opinion, I don't think that speaks to the love of Christ at all. I don't think that it makes God our Father happy to see his children talking about and treating each other in those ways, or using that kind of language or rhetoric. So to really purify your speech, so think about that before you post, retweet, tweet, share, whatever it is. Make sure it doesn't lack charity. Now, I'm not saying don't ever speak up, because we absolutely should speak the truth. But we should always speak the truth in charity. So let us soak our souls in the love of God. Let him purify our hearts, our emotions, our thoughts, our opinions, our feelings. And let us come to a place in our own souls where we seek God's will first, and that we truly try to witness his truth with charity to those around us. So let us live in the light. Let us be kind. Let us be loving. And let us be charitable. Take care, and God bless.